All right.
Hello, guys. It's Mrs. Klein.
What's new? It's Mrs. Wolbrin.
All right, you guys, we've got a podcast today for you that we're really going to get into something that's actually quite controversial at this time in our nation's history. It has to do a little bit with the Electoral College and how it is that the president is actually elected, because this is something that people at the Constitutional Convention had to grapple with, and they're the ones who came up with this system. So now we kind of want to know maybe the why behind they came up with this system.
And it was effective at this time, and now the argument is, do we still need it?
Do we still need it?
Yeah. Okay. So first we're going to talk about, at this Constitutional Convention, one issue was how should the chief executive be elected? And that's what we're going to talk about. So another major question facing the delegates concerned who would head the new government's executive branch. Early in the convention, Charles Pinckney urged the creation of a vigorous executive. James Wilson followed with a proposal that a single person serve as the chief executive. A sudden silence fell over the convention. The very idea of a single executive brought to mind unhappy memories of King George III.
There you go. All right, so should we have one executive or three executives? Edmund Randolph of Virginia disliked this proposal, preferring a three-member executive drawn from different parts of the country. Three people, he argued, could lead the country better than just one. In spite of these objections, however, the framers agreed to have just a single executive to be called the president.
Perfect. Okay, now we've got to talk about choosing that chief executive. Equally troubling was the issue of how to choose the chief executive, since some delegates wanted Congress to appoint the president. Still others suggested that the president be elected by a specially chosen group of electors from each state.
Okay, all right. Now, at the time, after some 60 votes, so it takes there's a lot of voting going on the issue of how to elect the president, the framers reached yet another compromise. Neither Congress nor the people, they decided, should choose the president and vice president. Instead, a special body called the Electoral College would elect the government's leaders. An electoral college, you guys, is a group that was established, again, in the Constitution, and their main job is to elect the president and vice president. Voters in each state, however, get to choose the electors that are a part of the Electoral College.
Okay, so let's talk about this system. The Electoral College is made up of electors who cast votes to elect the president and vice president every 4 years. Each state has as many electors in the Electoral College as the number of senators and representatives it sends to Congress. The votes cast by electors are called electoral votes.
And since right now, you guys, California is the most populous state, we have the most electors in the Electoral College.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Now, the Electoral College system seems very odd to most Americans today. In our age of instant communication, it's hard to appreciate the framers' concern that voters would not know enough about candidates outside their own state to choose a president wisely. That was really behind their reason for deciding on having this special group of electors who were going to be open to hearing information from a wide variety of places to be making the decision. Because at the time, if you were, say, somebody who was from Virginia, and Virginia was the most populous state at this time, you were going to get, and you were running for president, you were going to get more votes because there were more people in Virginia and they were familiar with you.
Exactly.
The electors were afraid that if somebody from Georgia wanted to run, nobody in New York would know about the Georgian because there was no quick and easy way to get information about different candidates to the general populace. Thus, they decided to come up with this program, the Electoral College, in order to be able to elect the president and the vice president.
Yep. Okay. And as you guys know, it is still in use today.
Yes.
All right. Now we're going to talk about the end of the convention. By the end of summer, the hard work of designing the Constitution was completed. However, the new proposal still had to be approved by the states.
Okay, the first question before the framers was how many states would have to ratify or approve the Constitution before it could go into effect. Should ratification require approval by all 13 states or by a majority of 7 states? Ultimately, the framers compromised once again, and they said that 9 states needed to ratify the Constitution.
Yeah, compromise is key.
Yep.
The second question was who should ratify the Constitution, the people or the state legislatures? James Madison argued strongly that the people were the foundation of all power and should decide. The majority of delegates agreed. And after the delegates signed the Constitution, the document was later ratified at special conventions by delegates elected by the people in each state.
All right. And then on September 17th, 1787, the delegates declared the Constitution complete. All right, you guys, I got to go.
Later.